Only darkness showed. Daphne's hand subtly touched hers, reminding her to keep her thoughts on the prayers. Feeling guilty, Celia paid attention to the moment, but not to the words. She allowed memories of her mother to come, some good and some painful, the most poignant ones those of the last few weeks. Alessandra's illness had brought them together after 5 years of estrangement. Any angers from the past, any resentments and scars, had not mattered very much during those last sweet days. Except one. When the service ended and the women drifted away, Celia permitted her attention to turn to the carriages again. She looked directly at each one as it rolled past, both to acknowledge the respects of the invisible man inside and to try to sense his presence, so perhaps she would recognize it later. "He was here," she said to Daphne, after all the carriages had gone. "I am sure of it." "He probably was." "He will perhaps write to me? Maybe now that she is gone, he will reveal himself." Daphne wound their arms together and escorted Celia away. "He may indeed. You are only humouring me. You do not believe he will." "He has not thus far, so no, I do not believe he will." Celia walked with more purpose. "It was cruel of her not to tell me. I have a right to know who my father is, but she dismissed my pleas." "I am sure she had her reasons, Celia. Perhaps you should accept that she knew best on this. Perhaps keeping her own counsel on the matter allowed her to pass in peace." Celia blinked away tears for the woman she would never see again. "No doubt she thought she did what was best, in this as in everything else about my life. However, I will never accept that I will never know my father's name."
"It was just talk, of course. Vague rumours. I never believed it myself. But others did."
Jonathan peered through the slit in the blinds. Most of his mind assessed the mission that his uncle was giving him, but a small part of it remained alert to the little drama playing out near the grave.
"Perhaps some did. There was no proof, only patterns and coincidences. They caused those in power to be suspicious at a time when suspicions abounded, often without good cause. Hence the concern now. No man wants his name tied to hers too closely during those years, due to the talk, lest it cast him in a bad light unfairly."
Uncle Edward imparted the necessary information in a lazy voice that reflected how minor he considered the entire matter. He also made it clear that he assumed Jonathan would accept this little charge, as he had so many others over the years. Jonathan parted the blinds a little more. Over at the grave, a clutch of women stood, all in black. Most of them would be recognizable to any man about town. Some were well-kept mistresses, and others were the most sought-after ladies of pleasure who chose their clients from among the temps. They lived on a little moon that closely circled the planet that best society inhabited, and formed a satellite world to which men of good birth travelled with some frequency. Not all the women were notorious. 2 of them seemed out of place. One, tall and willowy, remained invisible under veils hanging from the wide brim of her hat. The other, shorter and blonde, wore no hat at all. He squinted to see that second one's face better. The distance made her vague, but yes, it could well be Celia. Had she come out of sentiment, as a dutiful daughter, or as her mother's heir, the way Alessandra had planned and assumed? She stood proud and straight, and did not seem at all embarrassed to be surrounded by the kind of women who had been her mother's only choice of friends.
"And if the rumours were accurate?"
he asked Edward, not taking his eyes off that blonde head.
"What if I discover that Alessandra did pass?"